Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Today we're going to be talking about the AL Central
Ooh,
and all this crazy off-season moves that happen.
always a lot of action.
Always some head scratchers every year.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to be looking at an article series called Changes on baseballmusings.com.
Sounds familiar.
And it was published just last week between February 12th and the 17th.
Okay, cool. So pretty recent stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to be breaking it down for each team, looking at who they acquired, why they acquired them, and what that might mean for the upcoming season.
I like it. Let's get into it.
So let's start off with the White Sox.
Okay, the self-siders.
Yeah, they had a rough 2024.
They did.
So a shakeup was inevitable.
Makes sense. What did they do?
Well, they made a bunch of moves, but I'm not sure what to make of all of them.
All right, let's hear it.
So what really jumped out at you?
Well, it seems like they're trying to move away from the home run.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're trying to be less reliant on the long ball and just manufacture runs.
Interesting. That's kind of a shift from what we've been seeing across the league.
It is. And it'll be interesting to see if it pays off.
So who did they bring in to do that?
Well, they got Mike Tauchman for one.
Tauchman.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's not going to hit you 30 homers or anything.
Right.
But the guy gets on base.
Okay, so like a leadoff guy.
Exactly. He's going to get on base, set the table for the big bats.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking, small ball.
Kind of like what the Guardians have been doing.
Yeah, small ball, but
Yeah.
like you said, got to execute it.
Precision is key.
For sure. Now, what about their defense? They always seem to struggle there.
Well, they picked up Josh Rojas to play third.
Rojas, I remember him.
Yeah. Dude's a vacuum cleaner at third.
Right.
And their rotation doesn't strike out a ton of guys.
So lots of balls in play.
Exactly. So Rojas is going to be busy.
Do you think that'll be enough, though, to shore up that defense?
It's hard to say. The AL Central's got a lot of firepower on offense.
Yeah, a lot of teams can rake.
So it'll come down to their pitching and whether they can string enough hits together to capitalize.
Yeah, if your pitching can keep them in games.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of pitching, they also added Bryce Wilson to their rotation.
Wilson. He's an interesting one.
He's 27, so he should be entering his prime.
Right, supposedly.
But his track record isn't great.
Yeah, low strikeouts, gives up the long ball.
Exactly. So what do you think? Can he turn things around?
Maybe. If he can keep guys off the bases, limit the walks.
So again, playing into that defensive strategy.
Right, even if he gives up a homer or two, if nobody's on base, it's not as bad.
Damage control.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about a real wild card, Shane Smith.
Shane Smith.
Okay, so they picked him up in the Rule 5 draft.
No big league experience, then.
None. But his minor league numbers are insane.
Oh, really? Lay it on me.
Tons of strikeouts, hardly any home runs allowed.
Wow. Could he be the steal of the draft?
He could be. What's interesting is he's a lefty with the nasty slider.
Ooh, that's a good combo. Can be tough on both sides of the plate.
But the jump from the minors to the majors is huge.
It is, and the AL Central is a tough division to learn in.
So we'll see if he can handle the pressure.
Yeah. Trial by fire.
All right, let's move on to a team that was much quieter in the offseason. The Guardians.
Oh, yeah. They always seem to fly under the radar.
Yeah, compared to the White Sox, they didn't make a lot of noise.
They like to make their moves during the season.
Yeah, they're always wheeling and dealing.
So what did they do?
Well, they brought back Carlos Santana at first.
Santana. Huh. He's not the player he used to be.
Yeah, but he's a veteran presence,
Right. Provides leadership.
especially for their young infield.
Yeah. They've got a lot of young guys.
But what about C.J. Kifus?
Kifus. Now there's a name to watch.
He's their top prospect, right?
He is, and he's been tearing it up in the minors.
So if Santana struggles.
We could see Kifus in Cleveland sooner than later.
Now, another interesting move they made was with Luis Ortiz.
Ortiz, okay, what did they do with him?
Well, last year he made a big adjustment. He swapped out a pitch, and his walk rate and ERA plummeted.
Interesting. What kind of adjustment?
So he ditched his four-seamer, which hitters were crushing,
Ouch.
and he replaced it with a cutter.
Ah, so more movement.
Exactly. Weaker contact, fewer walks.
If he can keep that up, he could be a real force in their rotation.
For sure.
Now, speaking of potential forces, they also have Juan Brito.
Brito, I've heard that name.
He's a rookie second baseman,
Okay.
and he had a really good on-base percentage in the minors.
On-base percentage, that's huge.
But can he translate that to the majors?
That's the question.
Yeah.
The AL Central's a tough test for young hitters.
Some of the best pitching in baseball.
He'll have to be patient at the plate.
Stay disciplined.
If he can do that, he'll be a valuable asset.
Okay, let's move on to a team that's looking to make some noise this year. The Detroit Tigers.
The Tigers, they're always a team to watch.
Yeah, one commentator even said they didn't improve much this offseason.
We'll see about that.
So let's break it down.
All right.
Their biggest move was getting Gleyber Torres.
Torres at second base.
Interesting.
His power numbers have been up and down.
Yeah, he's been a bit inconsistent.
But they signed him to a one-year deal.
So maybe he's got something to prove.
Like a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he could break out this year.
Now they're also getting Jack Flaherty back.
Flaherty. He had a good year last year, right?
Yeah, his best season since 2019.
So they're hoping he can recapture that magic.
Can he be the ace they need?
Well, his walk and strikeout rates were great last year.
Oh, he's got this stuff.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, he could be a difference maker.
Now, another interesting move they made was with Tommy Cannell.
Kim Manley. What about him?
His ERA has been way better than his stats would suggest.
Really? Like
Yeah.
he's defying the odds.
Yeah, it's almost like he's a magician.
So what's the secret?
Well, he's been stranding a lot of runners.
Low BB.
Exactly. Hitters are making contact, but the ball's on finding gloves.
But that kind of luck can run out.
For sure. We'll see if he can keep it up.
All right, what else did they do?
Oh, this wasn't mentioned in the article,
Uh-oh.
but one commenter pointed out that they also added Alex Cobb.
Cobb. Wow, that's a good pickup.
Yeah, it just goes to show that even dedicated fans,
Sometimes they see things we miss.
they have a different perspective.
And it's important to consider all angles.
Absolutely.
Mm.
We always encourage our listeners to share their thoughts.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys.
It's all part of the deep dive experience.
That's right. Now let's talk about a team that's coming off a playoff appearance. The Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, they surprised a lot of people last year.
They did, but they're not resting on their laurels.
No, they made some interesting moves.
Like bringing in Jonathan India to be their DH.
Yeah, that was a weak spot for them last year.
A huge weak spot. Their DH is hit like .214, .280, .361.
Ouch. That's rough.
Yeah, but India is projected to hit .246, .34, .394.
That's a massive upgrade.
Not just the average either. He gets on base.
So he'll set the table for Bobby Witt Jr.
Exactly. A 1-2 punch at the top of the lineup.
Now, they also made a change at closer.
Yeah, they brought in Carlos Estevez.
His numbers have been kind of all over the place.
He's got the stuff, though. A big fastball, a nasty slider.
But he can struggle with command.
They're hoping their defense can help him out.
That's a bit of a gamble.
It is, but if it pays off...
They could have a lockdown bullpen.
Now let's move on to a team whose moves have been generating a lot of buzz. The Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, but not necessarily good buzz.
One commentator said their additions were like 0 + 0 + 0 + 0 = 0.
Ouch. That's harsh. But I get it.
Like bringing in Ty France to play first.
And he's projected to bat 8th.
Yeah, not exactly a vote of confidence.
And defensively, he's not great.
So unless his bat wakes up...
It's hard to see what he brings to the table.
One commentator even suggested playing Jose Miranda at first instead.
Yeah, Miranda at least has some upside.
Sometimes the fans have better ideas than the front office.
They're watching every game.
They see things.
They also signed Harrison Bader.
Bader, he's a great defender.
Yeah, a Gold Glover.
But his bat...
Let's just say it's not his strong suit.
In today's game, you gotta hit...
It feels like they're putting a lot of pressure on their pitching staff.
Hoping they can keep them in games.
And they also drafted Iverson Castellano in the Rule 5 draft.
Castellano. He had good numbers in the minors.
High strikeouts, low hits.
But can he make the jump to the majors?
The AL Central's a different beast.
It's like going from checkers to chess.
You got to be on your game.
Now, before we move on,
Yeah.
I want to talk about something we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
This shift in strategy we're seeing.
Like with the White Sox.
Yeah, teams are prioritizing defense and on-base percentage.
Over power.
It's like a counterculture movement.
In a division known for its sluggers.
Like they're looking at teams like the Guardians and the Rays.
And saying, hey, we can do that too.
It makes sense. The AL Central is a tough division.
You need every edge you can get.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Will it be a revolution or a flop?
Only time will tell.
All right. So we've covered all the teams and their moves. What do you think? Who's the early favorite to win the division?
Tough question. But I'd have to go with the Royals.
Really? Why them?
Well, they had a great year last year. And they addressed their biggest need by bringing in India.
Yeah, that DH spot was killing them.
And their pitching staff could be really good.
Estevez could be a big difference maker if he can find his command.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm picking the Royals.
Okay. Interesting. Now, what about a dark horse? A team that could surprise people?
I think the Guardians could be sneaky good.
The Guardians, they're always competitive.
They are. They always seem to find a way.
They develop talent so well.
And Ortiz could have a breakout year.
Yeah, if he keeps those walks down.
And Brito could be a star.
Yeah, if he adjusts to Major League pitching.
So yeah, the Guardians are my dark horse pick.
Okay. Now, on the flip side, is there a team you're worried about?
Honestly, the Twins have me scratching my head.
Yeah, their offseason was a little underwhelming.
They're banking on a lot of internal improvement,
Which is risky.
especially in a division as tough as the AL Central.
Like one commenter said, it's a bunch of zeros adding up to zero.
Yeah.
Ouch. But kind of true.
Speaking of the comments, I loved some of the insights from the readers.
Me too. Some of them were hilarious.
Like the one about the Twins.
But some were really smart.
Like suggesting Miranda at first base.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It shows that fans really know their stuff.
They're passionate.
And they have a different perspective.
So we should always listen to them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, one last thought before we wrap things up.
Okay.
These articles were all from mid-February.
Right.
A lot can change between now and opening day.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Teams could make trades, sign free agents.
Spring training could review some surprises.
So the AL Central race is far from over.
It's going to be a wild ride.
And that's what makes baseball so great.
The unpredictability, the
The
drama.
excitement.
I can't wait.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.